Yeah.
Ready to go?
Yeah, ready.
All right, here we are with my friend Taiyo Konda.
That's
How you doing,
right.
brother?
Very good. How do you pronounce my name?
Taiyo
Taiyo.
Konda.
Because everybody else pronounces it Taiyo in Australia.
Taiyo, because I actually know how to speak Japanese.
Yeah.
And you're Japanese.
It's
Somewhat. You're Japanese.
yeah. I try to be like
You-
I am
You are
by
technically
inheritance.
Japanese.
By inheritance, heritage.
Yeah, get a
But
drink.
I am an Aussie through and through. But I've got a Japanese heart. But whenever you say Taiyo,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I'm about to pull you up because I'm like, it's Taiyo. But you're actually not wrong. You're right in saying
All right,
Taiyo.
man.
Yeah, you're right.
Taking you back to your roots, bro.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey, remember when we met in the shopping centre and you kind of saved me from like this mold infested place that I was staying in?
That was crazy.
With my newborn.
That was crazy. I'm so grateful that God aligned us. It's the biggest shopping centre in southeast Queensland.
Like, how
I'm
did I
pretty
even
sure.
see you? It was crazy.
It's the Westfield at Chermside, right? And it's the largest shopping centre in Queensland. I'm pretty sure. How did we bump into each other at the same place?
I was getting a phone. I just arrived like the day before. I was in Vodafone and my wife was saying to me like, we can't stay in this place because it's full of mold. We have a newborn. And we just arrived in Brisbane. And then out of the corner of my eye, I see you walking past.
That's crazy. And then we had a chat and you're like, yeah, we're in this place and, we're here now. We're really excited to be here, but we're in this place and there's a little bit of mold and so forth. And I saw your face and you seemed really calm. But then I saw Azumi's face and she was like, a little bit moldy. And
Wasn't good.
I could read between the lines and I just thought, no, we've got to help them. And so I called Lucy immediately and she goes, yeah, tell them to come around. We've got a spare place, downstairs in the granny flat.
So we ended up staying with you for like a week, 10
about
days.
a week,
something like that.
10 days or something like that. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
awesome.
That's crazy.
And our kids became best friends after the first night.
Oh yeah, like
Man,
my kids literally talk about your kids. I would say every day.
every day. Same here,
as
same
their
here.
first best friends in Brisbane.
Wow. Sam and Isaac, they actually want to go to Brisbane Christian College just for Hugo and Lucy. They don't care about anything else.
That's our school.
They're like, I don't care about the school.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really
That would
cool.
be great.
But that was good. We had a lot of fun and we had a few nights, about 2 nights, where we went to sleep at 4 a.m. because we were just chatting all night.
That was
And then there was
crazy.
one night where we went to sleep at 2 and we're like, we should go to sleep now because it's getting late. We'll have another 4 a.m. if we don't say goodnight.
Oh man, so much to catch up on. So we originally met in Japan. Hey,
Yes, so that was in 2000 and, when was that?
I don't even.
I can't even
bro.
remember because I've been a few times. I went with Tim Hall because he was speaking at a few churches there.
Was he speaking at a few?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure because we caught up with some other church leaders and did a few things. Oh, I think it was predominantly Lifehouse though. But it was the conference, was it? No, or was it the pastors?
I think it was. Dude, I don't even remember.
It was the pastors.
some event
get
anyway.
together, the annual pastors conference.
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
And we actually saw some pretty cool healings that night.
Right, cool, awesome.
Person who'd been like in a wheelchair for ages.
Wow, that's cool.
Some back issue, I think. Like like someone's mum who it's not even a believer,
Wow.
bought them and then
Are you serious?
got healed.
Wow.
was pretty hectic.
So she no longer needed the wheelchair? Is that the case?
I think that's the story. Yeah, I think that's what
That's
happened.
pretty massive.
Like started walking and like they actually said like it was a real miracle. Like that person
That is
who's not
amazing.
who wasn't a believer. So that's pretty cool, eh? But that's where we met.
Yeah, Tim Hall's one of my best friends, and I was just on the phone to him a couple of days ago, and he's doing these tent rallies
I saw that.
in Maitland, and they're going off.
Dude,
He's filling the tent.
That's
A
where my
massive-
family's from.
Maitland.
Those little towns.
Maitland, New South Wales.
Maitland, obviously Newcastle, Maitland, Muswellbrook is where I was born.
Yeah, there's over
country New South
over
Wales.
3,000 people gathering, and heaps of people getting healed.
And putting that in context, it's like you There's only like, I don't know, 10, whatever thousand people in the town.
Are you serious?
Like it's a small town.
It's a small town.
Yeah.
Because the whole tent's packed. The tent's huge.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's bigger than our previous.
I think some of my family actually went because like they're from the area and they were posting photos and stuff. So it's just like random come up on my feed. Tim Hall's there.
Nice.
Anyways, so Tim Hall's there. So fast forward, you are at a church in Canberra.
Life Unlimited Church.
Life Unlimited.
Yeah.
Tell us about, like, you were with Sean Stanton.
Yeah.
And tell us about, so you went from that role.
Yep.
Sort of felt called by God to go and do something. Like, what happened there?
Yeah, so I was at Life UC, my wife and I, which is a great church in Canberra. And so we were there for about 15, 16 years. And I was on staff for, I reckon, about a decade, full time. And so it was just a great experience, like Sean and Linda, great leaders, great pioneers, incredible, mentors to Lucy and I. I just had dinner with them a week ago, and they're just really, really cool people, good people. And so we were with them. We were youth pastors, young adults pastors, new Christians like we did almost everything except for worship pastoring because I can't sing at all.
Probably for the best.
Yeah.
Join that club, yeah.
Keep people in the church. Don't get me up on stage singing. And so, no, we love them dearly. But I got a phone call from a guy called Steve Penny, who's got a very strong voice in our country and around the globe. And he called me early in the morning and he said, pack your bags because you're moving up north to Queensland. And that was the first phone call.
It's not like a everyday kind of phone call you get. What was your first reaction
I was like,
to that?
well, no, I felt a little bit offended because I was like, A, it's about 6 a.m. in the morning or whatever, an ungodly time, I'm just waking up. B, you don't know what's at stake here, like my role on executive at Life Unlimited Church, like really fully focused. Like I was traveling a lot as an itinerant minister, but a lot of my focus, I cut back a few of the opportunities I was getting because I really I felt called to hold up the arms of Sean and Linda Stanton. And so that was my focus, to do that predominantly, to serve their vision. And in the midst of that, to get a phone call when I'm getting excited, things are really happening. We're hitting COVID. And so we're really focusing on pastoral care at church. We're really focusing on online campus. Sean says, I want you to be our online campus pastor. Like, I want you to take care of a big chunk of responsibility. And I had 800 people that I was caring for as well within the church. 800 plus. They were just the people I was calling. And so, had a huge responsibility, very focused at Life UC. And then it was like a spanner in the woodworks. It was like a change everything that you're thinking and start to consider other things. And I was like, well, we don't have time to consider other things. We're busy doing stuff here. And so Tim Hall, he calls me as well and he says, Taiyo, transition is in the air. Pack your bags, get ready
Tim
for
Hall said that too.
transition. Yes, exactly.
So a
the
couple
same
of
thing.
guys that you kind of respected were saying something's changing, Taiyo. You got to consider that.
Yeah.
And what did Lucy say to that?
She said, I don't know. She was just a bit skeptical, but she, always is God first. So she was just open. She was like, if that's what God wants, we'll find out, Then I get a phone call from Corey Turner. I catch up with him for dinner and he goes...
Dropping a few names here. Corey Turner is Numa Church pastor.
Yeah, Numa Church. He's a good
in
guy.
Melbourne.
Good friend, very good friend.
Great guy.
Good heart.
Has a lot of he's kind of like pretty crazy prophetic.
Yeah.
Like some people have like the gift of encouragement and they call it prophetic, but
he's
he's
a prophet.
like legit.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild. Yeah. So what did he say?
But I wasn't quite sure because I'm good friends with him. So I'm like, are you just saying that because you know who I am? Because I've never spoken to anyone about moving to Queensland. But I just thought he's saying that at a relationship. But he goes, bro, no one told me nothing. And I'm like, oh, He goes, "You're going to move north to a sunnier place." That's all he said. And then, a few other people. And then another pastor actually mentioned the word Kenmore.
So how long before that, and then you talked to Sean and Linda?
Yeah.
Like what was there?
There was an 18-month period between us receiving those phone calls and then us going.
So that's a fair bit of time to stew on that.
Oh, yeah. We didn't want to just leave because
Yeah.
I wanted solid confirmation. Lucy and I, we don't do anything. We don't make any big decisions until we've got very solid confirmation.
It's cool for guys who are like kind of, maybe campus pastors now, executive sort of guys, youth pastors, thinking through like, I want to plant a church. I think that's a great thing to think through is like think about the process, like making sure that's a good process and making sure you're including people along that process.
Yeah.
Not just being a cowboy and trying to do whatever you want, like unsubmitted or like running off.
That's
but
right.
You guys kind of like submitted to,
that's
voices around you that like you trust.
But then the first person we told was Sean and Linda as well.
Right.
So before we even knew what was going on. So I just said, Sean, can we have a meeting? So we sat down and I said, this is what's happened. Can you pastor me and guide me through, help me navigate, through this journey and just guide me and help me to understand what it means. So without making any decisions, I vowed myself to be corrected, to be guided, to be led, to be mentored, to be, kind of journeyed through that. He helped navigate me through that transition or through, and he's very releasing. But I could tell that he didn't want me to go in some aspects because...
Sure.
Yeah, I love them very much and we still are very close. And even if I was still in Canberra, we'd catch up all the time. But I just knew that would mean that physically that distance would mean that we wouldn't be able to be together much. And so that was going to be tough for both of us and we understood that. As well as that, I felt very committed to Life Unlimited Church. So even people who said, look, we want to come with you, we said, no, you're not coming. You're staying here and you're going to build the church. Yeah,
so not screwing over what you spent a lifetime building on your way out. I think that's...
there was a mutual honour there, though. So he loved and honoured me.
That's cool that there was kind of a mutual honour there.
It wasn't just one way. So we were just like, mate, we're going to hold to this.
They really blessed you guys on the way out. That's awesome.
100%.
That's really cool to see that done well. That's something that we would
think it
love
was
to
done
do.
really well. I think not just from my side, but especially from their side.
Yep.
Very honouring.
Yep.
Very releasing. Very encouraging. There was no any sidewalk conversation saying, "Oh, what's happening?" It was just done very well, and I think it was because of the relationship. Yeah.
So fast forward into moving to Queensland, you take over something like what?
There's a handful of people.
A handful of people. Yeah. It was called Fuel Church.
Fuel. Yeah, fuel. Yeah.
Like a fire,
igniting fire.
Igniting fire. It was like a fire symbol.
Yeah.
That's what I remember about it.
Yeah. I actually looked at it. I thought that's pretty cool. Yeah.
So why did you take over instead of plant? And what was that process like for you? Because I'm sure you thought about both of those things, right?
So we'd been offered different churches. So Fuel was only one of the options.
How does that work? You get offered a church. What does that mean?
Because, with the state executive, they found out that I was a free agent.
You're talking about ACC.
ACC
has 1,000 churches, and some of those churches don't have pastors.
Yeah, well, they need pastors.
And then they hear that you're...
And they're like, Taiyo, would you consider this church? Taiyo,
and they
these
ask
guys
you.
may need you up here.
That's kind of the process.
Exactly. Okay. And they hear about it. And then, obviously, they won't hear about it until Sean and Linda are comfortable, them knowing. You know what I mean?
Well, Sean and Linda are part of that national executive anyway,
right.
so that's...
The Three Stooges, wasn't it?
It kind of works
Three
together.
Amigos. I messaged Pastor Wayne the other day and I'm like, Three Stooges. But no, the Three Amigos. They're so Pastor Sean is the secretary of our movement, obviously on national executive, but he has a lot to do with the higher up decisions that are made in our movement. So
Sure.
for myself, I said to him, you don't need to give me any, I don't want any extra benefits just because, I'm with you. Just the normal process.
I would ask for extra benefits.
I was getting crazy opportunities. There was one church with, many staff, big building, massive land, stuff like that. But there was just not the sense of God's presence in it.
Okay, so did you ever consider planting, or was it just always, I think I should take something over?
We were going to plant a church in Japan. That's what I
Really?
told Sean I want to go. I wanna go.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
I wanted to go to Japan.
Oh.
So
desu ka?
Hey, so desu.
So what pushed you over the line then of not doing that? Why didn't you go?
We kept praying about it. We kept submitting it to the Lord.
You didn't want to speak Japanese?
And there was not a peace. There was just, and it was almost like God was saying, yes, but not now. So I don't think we'll ever go and live there.
Yep.
But I definitely think we'll be a part of something.
You have to. There's so much to do in Japan.
Yes.
There's so much opportunity.
It's burning in my heart. In fact, the same time I met you, in Japan, in Tokyo, God spoke to me in one of the meetings where Tim Hall was preaching, and he said that I'm going to give you a burden for this country that will never disappear.
Yeah.
And it's been with me for over a decade.
Dude.
Like this burning passion for Japan.
Anyone who's been to Japan, you get that sense of, man, this is right in the middle of what God wants to do with the unreached in the world right now. It's been incredible. So, Fuel Church, there's a few people there.
Few people.
You got some organisation and stuff like that. You decide to take that on.
Yeah.
And what was the first meeting like?
It was small. It was, yeah. So
were you nervous? First meeting?
Not nervous.
Like when you were meeting the crew?
No, because they invited me to preach there first.
Okay, so you didn't just go and then meet them after you appointed. You met them before.
Yeah, they invited me to preach there.
Bit of dating, just to check out.
Yeah, because Lucy and I hadn't made a decision to be pastors there, to lead there. But when we were there sitting in the meeting, Lucy and I looked at each other, and she just about cried, and she said, "Taiyo, I think we're supposed to be here."
That's cool.
And I said, "I think you're right."
Wow.
And so it was, by far very different to what we had been offered in the past in terms of a church. But I felt, as I prayed about it, I just felt that God was saying, I want to show off my ability, not yours, Taiyo. And so, it was, there was a definite sweetness and a presence, God's presence there, drawing us to the people. And it was the people there that we fell in love with.
That's
And
really cool.
It's just wonderful. Yeah.
Tell me, what is the biggest change going from being on a staff at a church with having a senior pastor to becoming the senior pastor? What's been the biggest changes for you?
You have to do everything at a smaller church. So I have to be at some stage, I had to kind of be the accountant. I had to open up a new business, close down a business. When we changed the name from Fuel Christian Church to City Chapel, I was the one leading that. So now I know how to open up my own business if I need to, close down bank accounts, like all stuff to do with finance, accounting, business. You have to do everything. You have to be able to do everything. You have to know how to do everything. And so being a pastor isn't just preaching, isn't just praying, getting away with God in his presence, leading teams, raising up volunteers. It is a million times more than that. And so, especially in Australia, with the logistics legislation around this country, especially after the Royal Commission, there's been a huge amp and an increase of pastors need to be accountable and churches need to be accountable in every area of finance, every area of child protection, so policies have ramped up. So we need to be really, above board when it comes to policies, knowing them, reading them. So we have to be a business person, not just...
So the days of just pastors being preaching, counselling, those days are over.
Long gone. For the last decade.
That's no longer good enough for Australian society. We need pastors to be responsible for a whole wide variety of things.
That's right.
Which does make you think, are we training our young people?
No.
Like, are we preparing them?
No, not at all. At Bible college, you'll never... I love Bible colleges, and I think if people feel called, do it. But Bible colleges will never teach you.
So that's something we've got to rethink.
Yes.
For this, next generation. So the logistics, the breadth and the scope of things that you have to cover, that was a big change for you. I guess like if you have people to do those things, that's one thing. But here's ultimately
smaller church.
You are responsible for everything.
Everything.
So whatever people you don't have, that's you.
I've got to be the.
You're that guy.
Yeah, our social media is not even that good. Why? Because Taiyo's doing it. So if you know anyone,
if that's not your thing,
you know what I mean, let me know.
I mean, I do our social media
and
too.
It's fantastic.
But you got to.
But I'm not that guy.
You got to. Like,
I don't do that.
We all find our spot.
Yeah. I'm a people's person, bro. Nah.
So what would you say is natural for you, and what has been unnatural? Like has been difficult?
Yeah, I'd say that natural is relationships, inspiration, teaching, preaching, hearing what God's saying in the season.
Yep.
Leadership and vision. They've been my strengths. But admin, bro, I'm not great at admin. But I've been the administrator now. Like, I've got an amazing team and people help. There's this person called Pastor Latai, and she volunteers so many hours to help with admin because I know that I need it. She probably knows that I need it, but she's such a blessing to the church. So there are people doing it. But at the end of the day, if something's not done, it's on me.
It's on you.
Administrationally.
Right. Yeah.
So as the church is still pretty small, I'm doing a lot of things.
Yeah. Interesting. So what has been, would you say, like through this, was it been a year and a half?
Yeah.
2 years?
Yeah, a year and a half. A year and a bit more than a half, yeah.
Like we want to get to where you're at right now, but just wanted to dig into that a little bit more. What's some of the best things about taking over a church? You're in your mid-30s. What's been the best thing about that?
It's the adventure. It's the seeing God move in a powerful way. I mean, if you're not called to it, don't do it. But if you're called to it, it's the best thing you could ever possibly do. That's what I believe. Because, like, for example, we're getting kicked out of church, right, because of COVID, and we're meeting in a state school hall. And so we were homeless as a church. And so I said to God, look, we've got a problem. Houston, we have a problem. And I said, God, if you don't provide us a place in the next 2 weeks, we're going to be homeless. We're going to be meeting in a park in the rain. That's the reality of it. But then meeting with some people, talking to a real estate agent, sitting down with some people for a meeting, there is a church building, church facility. I reckon you'd fit over 700 people in that auditorium, multiple kid spaces on 2.3 acres of land. They said to us, you can just move in here for free.
That's
there's
crazy.
Sound set up. There's,
it's crazy.
The building isn't perfect and it's a little bit run down. But you know what? At the end of the day, it's a home and it's a place where we can gather together for worship. And
you guys put work into it. You guys did the best to, present that in a good way.
We worked very hard.
I've been to that venue.
Yeah. We set it up, spent hours painting, doing a lot of renovations. But, we're not there anymore. But we still are there. We have access. But we're not there full time.
Last week, you moved to a new venue.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
Tell us about, you basically had almost like a second launch in a way, in a venue that's you actually really think is great, and it's in a school hall, right?
Yeah.
In
Kenmore.
So you're in Kenmore, which is in West Brisbane, is it?
Yes, that's right. Near Indooroopilly, about 7-8 minutes from Indooroopilly.
Yep. And it's a great school. It's the Kenmore State High School. So it's like the main high school in the suburb.
Right. Yeah.
It's got a hall there. It's got obviously lots of facilities because it's a school.
Yeah.
So how was the first Sunday?
It was awesome. So I got a text in the morning saying, just be careful because this is an extreme weather warning.
That's right.
Text.
It was like flood warnings that day.
Bad.
Like we had to cancel because we're in a flood zone.
Right.
But you guys...
I know a few churches didn't meet.
It's not the best day to launch something new.
It's the worst day.
Right?
And then I'm getting messages saying, Pastor Taiyo, I love you, but I won't be there this morning. And I'm like, oh, no, because we're trying to...
As a pastor, you hate getting those messages.
Yeah, you do, because you want everyone to be there to encounter God, to be blessed by the message.
This ambulance, come on, past us here. It's like on a special day, you want it to be special.
Yeah.
So it's like if you're not there, it's like a gut punch because it's like you want to make it special.
Massive. And I'm just like, praying in faith, like, let's invite everybody, come on, let's go for it. And, because I'm a bit of an evangelist, just, at heart. And so that's my tendency is to encourage everyone. Come on, let's bring your friends, bring everybody, bring the cat, the dog next door, whatever.
Yeah.
But despite all that, it was just a beautiful day, wonderful atmosphere. All the teams just did such a great job at transitioning into the new venue. I mean, because we're using all of our own gear. We've got a storage unit, 2 storage spaces in the new venue, which is unbelievable. But they did a great job just to make it look good, feel good. And the presence of God through worship was just incredible. And there were heaps of people, heaps of new people. Kids' church was packed. It was just... there was such a great buzz in the
awesome,
foyer area. It was awesome.
Photos looked amazing. Just
it
like
was just powerful.
A new chapter for you guys.
It felt like a proper church.
Yeah, definitely like a huge step forward. I'd say.
Yeah.
So well done, man.
Thank you. I'm grateful for the team. They're great people.
Yeah. I know a lot of work goes into venues. Like, probably some of the biggest challenges of starting a church is venues.
Right.
And it's
tough.
It's so tough.
Very tough. We're very blessed. We feel very blessed.
Yeah.
And what did you think the photo looked like of the first one, the one of the stage? Because I've been worried about that one. Did that look all right?
I didn't even notice that. I just noticed the one that was outside. That lobby kind of area, the outside lobby area, just looked awesome.
That was cool.
People just chilling.
Oh yeah, I can't wait for this Sunday.
Yeah, it's just a photo.
It's not too bad.
It actually looks good, man. Like I think, we were talking through what to do with lighting.
Yeah, I was worried
like
after
that.
talking to you.
Were you?
Because you were like, man, you're gonna need some work. You need to get. But then we threw Forefront Productions. Shout out to those guys.
Dude, that was crazy.
And then to Adam Schaff. And just the blessing there, we got over $100,000 worth of gear gifted to us.
And right at the time you're going into a venue.
A week before. Yeah.
Another church.
A week before.
Said, we have all this gear. Yeah. We want to give it to you.
Give it to you for free.
How nuts is that?
And so that's why it looks like that.
That's crazy.
Because I was freaking out. I was like, how are we going to make it like the way Luke said we need to make it?
Well, you've done well, man. You've done really
God.
well.
Oh, God. That's what I'm saying.
Solid.
Like, it's God, man. Like, it's, everything bad that happens, it's my fault. Everything good that happens, I want it to be God's God's thing.
It's amazing. I just think God loves church planning.
He loves it.
Like, he loves the community of faith going forward.
He's behind it. He's behind it.
So it just makes a way.
He makes a way. Miracles, provision.
It's a lot of work.
And I've been loving our the friendships that we've been blessed with in Brisbane as well. Like, some young pastors that we've been catching up with. Just it's been good just
What's
to
the vibe
have
in
strong
Brisbane?
relationships. I think there's a great sense of unity coming from Canberra and then Brisbane. I love the unity in Brisbane. I love the camaraderie. I love the friendships that are forming as well. Young pastors who are giving it a go, having a crack and doing it together has been great. Like just, getting to be friends with you has been just amazing, bro. Consider you one of my best friends, one of my closest. And just other mates, I won't mention all names, but, just with James Hensley, Lucas Connell, Chris Campbell, Phil Kennedy, just, Tim Spark, just a few of these guys. And the support from our movement, ACC, like I'm an ACC boy through and through. I just love our movement. And without the ACC, I don't know where I'd be. And just a massive shout out to ACC, our movement.
Australian Christian churches.
Yeah, Australian Christian churches. Brisbane, Ben Naitoko doing a great job.
Yeah, Ben's awesome. We just seeing like a bit of a, how would you say, like not changing the garden. So it's more just like there's a bunch of guys our age. We were all like the youth pastors and the campus pastors. Back in the day, and now we're all the guys like our generation is coming through and leading, significant churches.
It's crazy.
I mean, I've just started, so I'm.
Well, we're all really
just
starting. We're all really just starting.
But it's cool to see that, and
yeah,
just like how we're all really good friends. I think that's significant, and something that I see with all of our friends is like
It's awesome.
very much like, I want to help you to win. I'm not
Exactly.
competitive, or like I have
No.
nothing to prove, or
No.
like your
It's
win
like
is I am seeing it as our win, you know.
It's special and it's unique what's happening.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I'm new to Australia, so I don't know if that's just like everywhere.
No,
whether
it's
that's a
still
generational
unique
thing,
in
or
Australia.
it's Brisbane or whatever.
It's very unique to see what's happening. Like, we are totally, for each other. We're not here to compete. We just want to bless one another. And so I just even give a shout out right now to Future Church. You know, if you're in the area, if you're looking for a local church, if you just happen to, stumble across his podcast, join Future Church. It's amazing. It's going to be one of Brisbane's greatest churches, one of Australia's greatest churches, and you want to be part of it. Like, just jump in, be a part of it. And
Thank you, bro.
That's my encouragement to people. Yeah.
So you changed the name, by the way. Don't search Fuel Church.
Yeah. City Chapel.
Chapel.
Which doesn't translate in Japan very
like,
well.
if you do a campus in Japan, don't call it that.
Well, how would you pronounce that, Luke? Since you
I
know
don't
how
know.
to pronounce
Let's
things
just
in
say
Japanese.
there's no word, there's no C sound. It's more of a SH sound.
So how does that sound then?
So it would be like city, but change it to SH.
So that's not a very good chapel.
Don't go.
It's not a great chapel.
Just change that
yeah,
name.
yeah.
Just
So
go
you
like
know what? We'll probably just do the chapel. The chapel.
The chapel.
Or something like that.
Chapel Church.
Taoism has already been taken. It's a cult, so I won't take that.
Taoism.
Bruce Lee was a Taoist.
Really?
Yeah, man.
That's a thing.
It's a thing.
Wow. It's a good
So,
reminder. Don't get caught up in yourself.
That's right. Nice one. Can tell you're a dad.
I'm a new dad, so yeah. So all right. So what's the future? Winding this up. What is the future for City Chapel?
I think there's quite a few things, and as I just sit still with the Lord, what I see multiple locations.
Yep.
That's what I see. I see arms stretching wide and far, and I see us going to places where we never dreamt of. But I also see a huge impact in the space of community. I see that God is going to empower us and enable us to impact community in a new way. I've just been talking to Lucy, some of our team. We've got some amazing people on team who are like psychologists, who have run childcare centres, who are social workers, who have worked in some of the largest non-for-profits in Australia, who know how to direct, who know how to coordinate it.
Yep.
And they're all coming to me saying, Taiyo, I feel like we're going to do something big for community as a church. I believe that combining all of our brain power and our experience, and I have been getting very excited because I can see something. I'm just having some conversations with certain people who are working in this space, and our heart is really, I don't know exactly what it's going to look like, but I see us helping elderly people, helping single parents, helping people to raise babies, people that don't know how to raise a child, and they've got this child and they don't know what to do. I believe that we're going to be a great resource to them.
Awesome.
I see us opening up facilities where we can train people on how to reach community. I don't know exactly what it's going to look like, but I can see it in my mind. But we'll see how we go with it, though. Ask me in 10 years, and then I'll let you know.
I will ask you.
But I'm
again
excited.
in 10 years.
I can see it.
That's awesome, bro. I love that. Just to finish, a couple quick questions. What's the best book you read recently?
Recently, I'd say John Maxwell, 360-Degree Leader, would probably be my recent favourite, because what it's taught me to do is appreciate, because I've focused so much in my life focusing, honouring up, and so honouring Sean and Linda, so spending a lot of, over almost 2 decades doing that, but then honouring sideways, like honouring your peers, but then now really focusing on honouring those who you're bringing up, that you're taking up.
I love that.
So discipleship.
That's really cool.
And making that a big focus. So how can you say that you honour if you can only honour up? That's not really honour. Honour is when you are an honouring person, no matter who it is. I believe a great focus for discipleship is honouring by taking people on the journey with you.
Love that.
raising people up, empowering people, releasing people into their
Yep.
call.
And lastly, what's something that's like in the pipeline right now that you haven't landed yet, but you're kind of wrestling with we're all trying to sort out stuff. Something that's in the pipeline, it's not fully ready yet, but you're processing right now. What are you processing?
A building. Yeah, a building to call home for City Chapel.
Yep.
Like, we are in the next best thing. Like, it is fantastic and it is amazing. But we're looking, the next thing is a building.
Amazing.
Purchasing one.
All right. If you're a millionaire out there, give Taiyo a call.
Hit me out.
It's a lot of work to get a building. So, yeah, praying for that for you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for spending some time. It was great.
Yeah, it's awesome. Always good, Luke. Thank you.
And see you soon.
See you soon.